Thousands of years ago, on dusty, sun-scorched earth, somewhere in Mesopotamia or across the vast steppes, some ancient stargazing priest, or perhaps just a humble shepherd, looked up. It was night, not a soul around, just the rustle of the wind and the distant howl of wolves. And above, billions of lights. They twinkled, teased, beckoned. And in that moment, listen closely, humanity's most primal instinct didn't just appear, it awoke, the yearning for the sky, a yearning stronger than hunger, stronger than fear, a yearning to know what lay beyond that endless black abyss. This was long before Galileo's telescopes, before Korolev's satellites, before Armstrong's steps on the moon. It was our first encounter with infinity. And if you're already enjoying this cosmic journey, this flight of imagination, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It truly helps us create more stories like this. And while you're at it, tell us in the comments, what city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? We'd love to know where our listeners are tuning in from. Now, let's get back to our star fever. So let's return to that ancient shepherd. He, like us, looked at the stars. We look at them and see freedom there. We see an endless ocean where one can sail forever, discovering new shores, new worlds. Imagine billions of stars, each like a solar system, each a potential home, a potential adventure. We believe that space is our next step, our departure from the cradle, our grand purpose. But what if this belief is just a beautiful dream, a mirage in the desert, an alluring illusion? You know how it is? You look at the horizon, and it seems like you're about to reach it, but it just keeps receding and receding, on and on into infinity, space, the sky. For us, these are synonyms for freedom, boundless expanses. But what if that's not true? What if all this time we've simply been looking at a ceiling, and perfect canvas painted above our heads, so we'd never guess we're in a gigantic cosmic prison? Someone might say, "Listen, narrator, what nonsense. We fly into space, we build stations." Yes, we fly. A few hundred kilometers. That's like trying to escape from prison by climbing onto the roof of one of the buildings. You're high up, you see other walls, but you're still inside. Our blue marble, our cradle, our home. What if it's not a cradle, but a cage? Golden, blue, comfortable, but a cage. We yearn for the stars, reaching for them like moths to a flame. But what if this flame doesn't warm us, but merely shows us the boundaries of our eternal cage? And this, my dear listener, is just the beginning of our journey to the most chilling discovery, to the realization that humanity, perhaps, will never truly see the stars. Imagine a cold October evening in '57, Kazakhstan, Baikonur. The steppe is enveloped in pre-dawn fog, and towering above it is a titanic steel needle, the R-7 launch vehicle. People in padded jackets bustle around it, their breath forming clouds of steam in the frosty air. Tension hangs heavy, as thick as the fog. And then the roar of engines, a deafening sound shaking the ground and bone. Tongues of flame lick the concrete launch pad, and the giant slowly, painfully lifts off the earth. In that moment, on October 4th, 1957, humanity took its first true, deafening step into space. The path to the stars, it seemed, had opened. Listen, if you like how we're unraveling these cosmic mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It helps us create more videos like this. And by the way, we're really curious. What city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's get back to our stars. and how they deceive us. Because what seemed like a victory back in '57 was actually just the first step into our galactic trap. Oh, come on, you'll say. It was just a rocket. We did it. We flew. Gagarin flew. Americans on the moon. What are you even talking about? And I'll answer, where did you fly to? Around our home planet? To our nearest, not-so-hospitable, rocky neighbor? It's like an aquarium fish. That gathering speed bumps into the glass and thinks it's traveling. It sees the room outside, it sees the world, but it will never reach it. And so it is with us. From the very beginning of history, we've yearned for the stars, for those alluring distant lights. We drew constellation maps, crafted myths, built observatories, and then rockets. Every attempt we made to leave Earth, to venture beyond its cozy, protective blanket, felt like hitting an invisible wall. Invisible? Rather like hitting a multi-layered, very cunning barrier. Do you think space is an empty void just waiting for us? Oh no, it's not an empty waiting room. Space is an active, deadly mechanism that issues an ultimatum. Be warned, it's going to hurt from here on out. We will show what truly hides behind the alluring light of the stars. Not just distance, not just time, but conditions that explicitly say, human, you do not belong here. Every molecule of oxygen that gives us life, every heartbeat that is our weakness beyond the blue marble. We are not birds flying in the sky. We are fish trying to take flight. And space, it's not just indifferent. It is our jailer. Our dreams of distant worlds, they're just a view from our cell, of the stars, which we will never reach. May 27th, 1931. A tense silence hung over Augsburg, Germany. An unusual, bulky sphere of aluminum and steel, resembling a futuristic submarine, slowly rose into the sky. Inside were two daring men, Auguste Piccard and Paul Kipfer, heading where no human had set foot before, into the stratosphere. They aimed to see the edge of the sky, to reach unknown heights, but what awaited them there was not just cold and thin air. Their tiny capsule, a hermetically sealed island of life, collided with a reality where oxygen turned to poison, and the sun's rays pierced more intensely than on Earth. This was our first touch of the hostility of what we've come to call the sky, the unearthly celestial armor that simultaneously protects us and holds us captive. As you ponder this historic leap upward, let us know if you like what we're talking about. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It helps us release new videos and continue these fascinating discussions. And please tell us, what city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? Write in the comments, we'd love to know. Now, let's return to our cosmic walls. We're used to thinking of the atmosphere as just air. You know, a few clouds, beautiful sunsets, maybe planes flying sometimes. And the hardest part, we think, is breaking through it, overcoming air resistance, escaping Earth's gravity. Ha! That was just a prelude, a gentle tap on the shoulder before the real punch to the face. Our ancestors, soaring in hot air balloons, first encountered one of the layers of our prison, but they couldn't even imagine that beyond this aerial blanket lies a true torture chamber. Listen, want to know what's most amazing? Our atmosphere isn't just a ceiling we're trying to break through. It's also our main shield. Imagine you live in a cozy house, and its walls not only protect you from rain and wind, but also reflect deadly lasers bombarding the house from all sides. That's exactly what our atmosphere does. It's a dense, multi-layered filter that absorbs most of the lethal solar and cosmic radiation. Without it, we'd be living on a radioactive testing ground, under constant bombardment by high-energy particles. It's like standing in an endless shower of bullets, only you can't see or hear these bullets until they start rewriting your DNA. And that's just the beginning. You step outside the atmosphere? Great. Now you'll face the vacuum. Not just an absence of air, it's an absolute nothingness that strives to tear you apart. Have you ever seen sausages boil? Imagine you're that sausage, only in your veins. Blood doesn't just boil, it literally evaporates. Your body inflates, and your lungs, well, they just rupture. And all this happens instantly, in a matter of seconds. Skeptics might say, so what? We have spacesuits. Yes, we do. But a spacesuit isn't just a suit. It's your personal, tiny, hermetically sealed Earth, your mini bubble of life, trapped in an ocean of death. Your own portable cosmic prison. And then there's temperature. Our atmospheric blanket regulates heat like a good thermostat. Beyond it, the sunlit side can reach 120 degrees Celsius, like a scorching oven. And the night side can plummet to minus 150 degrees, like a deep freezer, and without a single heat source. You simply wouldn't survive such a drastic shift. Without an atmosphere, your body is simply incapable of retaining heat. It's not a gentle swing, but an instantaneous transition from a sauna to an Arctic desert, and back again. So, when we look at the blue sky and think, oh, if only we could break through this air cushion, we forget that this cushion is our protection, and at the same time, our sentence. It cuts us off from the harshest and most merciless dangers of space. But ironically, it also keeps us in this golden cage. Without it, we simply wouldn't exist. And with it, we will never truly see the stars, never feel their breath, never step beyond the threshold of our cozy, yet so confining home. The atmosphere is the first, but far from the last, wall of our galactic prison. A 500-year-old story. The year 1519. Somewhere in late August, the hot sun bathed the harbor of Sanlúcar de Barrameda in southern Spain. Mighty ships, caravels, and naus prepared to set sail. Ferdinand Magellan, perhaps, never imagined the trap of pure, immeasurable distance he would fall into. 3 years of hell, hunger, death. Physicists, by the way, look at this. Well, some with a deep sigh, some with a smirk. They're like, yeah, dude, the universe is like an endless marathon with no finish line. And none is foreseen. We say space is huge, but that's such an understatement. It's like saying the ocean is just a big puddle. It's not just a lot of space. It's a fundamentally insurmountable distance. The biggest prison is simply distance. And it has no bars, yet it holds us tighter than any lock. Because you can see light from a distant galaxy, but that's light that traveled to you for millions of years. Millions. You're looking at the past, and that past will forever remain an unreachable future. We see an event horizon, and it constantly recedes, like a mirage in the desert that vanishes the moment you try to approach it. Our ships, even if they could travel at the speed of light, and unfortunately they cannot, would still never reach the boundaries. Because these boundaries, as we understand them, simply don't exist. There is only infinite expansion. Imagine you're trying to catch a point that's moving away from you faster than you can run. That is our cosmic prison. Invisible walls, created by the very fabric of spacetime. A distance that doesn't just separate us from the stars, but makes every attempt to reach them pointless. Because no matter where you fly, you will always be at the center of your own endless and inescapable prison. And the stars? The stars are just distant, unreachable lights behind bars, with no hope of ever touching them. August 3rd, 1492. The Spanish harbor of Palos de la Frontera. At dawn, as the sun began to paint the Atlantic waters in golden pink hues, 3 humble caravels, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Niña, slowly pushed off from shore. On board, Christopher Columbus and his crew. They believed they were sailing to new lands, to untold riches, a long, arduous journey full of dangers of the unknown. Imagine months on the open ocean where the horizon was your only company, months that felt like an eternity. It was an incredible, world-changing voyage. But that eternity is merely a snap of the fingers compared to what awaits us if we wish to leave our terrestrial cradle. By the way, if you're already intrigued by where I'm leading and how deep we'll delve into this cosmic trap, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us release more captivating stories like these. And of course, tell us in the comments, what city are you from? What time zone are you watching our lectures from? We are very interested in knowing our audience's geography. Now, let's return to our journey to nowhere. We constantly talk about how one day we'll build spaceships that will fly to distant stars, that will reach Alpha Centauri or Sirius. And we often hear, so what if it takes 100 years? We'll build generation ships. Stop. Let's face the truth. We haven't even left the cosmic kindergarten yet. Think about this. To the nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri, it's no less than 4¼ light years away. What does that mean? Even if we hypothetically build a ship capable of traveling at 10% the speed of light, which is already science fiction level for us, for modern technology, the one-way journey would take over 40 years. Over 40 years. That's one human lifetime. You're born on Earth. You set off at 20. You'd arrive at the star at 60, if you arrive at all. Now imagine you need to go there and back. 80 years, just like that. And that's in the best case scenario, at a speed we currently cannot achieve. Not even accounting for acceleration and deceleration. You know, it's like trying to cycle from Vladivostok to Kaliningrad, and every 100 kilometers, you have to be reborn. Sounds absurd? Exactly. Physicists are like, well, what did you expect? Time. It's just like that, viscous, especially when you're talking about cosmic scales. And a skeptic might tell me, what about cryosleep? What about artificial life extension and wormholes? For now, these are all just sketches from a science fiction writer's notebook. And reality? Time, like a relentless overseer, simply doesn't give us a chance. It's not just far. It's an eternity. It's a lock, a temporal lock. We are trapped by an invisible wall whose name is the speed of light. And beyond this wall, kilometers turn into centuries, millennia. To reach the nearest star, our descendants would have to be reborn thousands of times, if that were even possible. But even if we imagine that each generation continues this insane journey, how do you maintain the goal? How do you keep a connection with the starting point if it has long since vanished into oblivion? Imagine you send a letter into the past, and you wait for a reply until your great-great-great-grandchildren are old. And even then, it's not certain they'll receive it. Time makes the stars unreachable. It turns them from lighthouses into mirages. This is one of the most treacherous walls of our cosmic prison. March 16, 1926, Auburn, Massachusetts. Imagine a bleak, cold day when the wind cut to the bone and the ground hadn't quite thawed after winter. In a snowy field, amidst branches and thorny bushes, stood a strange contraption, a metal pipe mounted on a low tripod. No giant towers, no launch complexes, just a genius, Robert Goddard, and his first liquid-fueled rocket. A moment, a hiss, then a roar, and there it went, soaring into the sky, a mere 12.5 meters, traveling only 56 meters. A small triumph. Just a few kilograms of fuel, a meager amount of energy, enough to boil a couple of kettles of water. It was humanity's first timid step towards the stars. A step that today seems like a naive attempt to move a mountain with a spoon. By the way, if you like what we're talking about here, and you want to learn more about the mysteries of our universe, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more stories like these and explore the most incredible corners of science. And what city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? Write in the comments, we'd love to know. Let's return to our rockets. Goddard dreamed of the moon, of Mars. And his descendants did indeed reach the moon, using energy equivalent to the explosion of several hundred tons of TNT in a matter of minutes. That, listen, is an incredible amount. Each stage of the Saturn V rocket burned thousands of tons of fuel per second to rip a tiny capsule from Earth. Just imagine, an entire power plant running at full capacity for an hour just to lift something off the ground. And now, let's forget about the moon. Imagine, Proxima Centauri, our nearest neighbor, is 4.24 light-years away. That's trillions of kilometers. To reach it in even 100 years, we'd need to accelerate a ship to several percent of the speed of light. And here's where it gets interesting. To accelerate even a relatively small spacecraft, let's say the weight of an aircraft carrier, but much smaller, to such a speed requires energy hundreds, if not thousands, of times greater than humanity's entire annual energy consumption on Earth. The skeptic will immediately protest, "Oh, come on, that's easy. We'll invent some kind of hyperdrive, or fusion, or antimatter." Okay, let's imagine we've mastered nuclear fusion. That's cool, it's efficient. But even if we could convert matter into energy with maximum efficiency, according to Einstein's ELMC2 formula, to accelerate tons to relativistic speeds, we would still need tons. No, thousands of tons of antimatter or fusion fuel. That's like trying to ignite a fuel tank the size of Mount Everest to ride a bicycle around the block. An energy dead end. This isn't just about fuel, it's about scale. Imagine you want to move a mountain. Not just a rock, but an entire mountain. And you're trying to do it with your finger, or even 100 tractors. Space is that mountain. And to move it, to break through its invisible walls, requires energy that we can only compare to the power of a small sun. Yes, that's right. To truly travel between stars, we may need to learn how to harness the energy of an entire star. Or at least master the processes that occur within one. For now, our spacecraft are merely pebbles we toss upward, and after a short flight, they invariably fall back down. We can break free from Earth's gravity, we can even fly beyond the solar system, but that's still like walking down a prison corridor. The main gates, which lead to the stars, are closed, not by chains or locks, but by an invisible wall, a wall woven from insatiable energy demands. We want to fly to the stars. Excellent. But the energy for that is like trying to move an entire continent. It's like trying to empty an ocean with a spoon. It's an energy sentence. And every time we look at the distant lights in the sky, remember, they beckon, but entry into that glowing world requires a key. A key that perhaps will never be in our hands. A key that is in itself an entire star. November 28th, 1973, the planet held its breath. No, it wasn't a rocket launch or a new scientific discovery. It was an anticipation. the anticipation of Comet Kohoutek, which astronomers and the press had dubbed the Comet of the Century. Forecasts promised an unprecedented spectacle, a brilliant tail shining in the heavens, an object that was supposed to be visible even during the day. People bought tickets to observatories, prepared for romantic evenings under its light. Children trembled with anticipation of a cosmic miracle. And what happened? Kohoutek turned out to be a fizzle, a faint, barely visible smudge that hardly lived up to the hype. The world felt deceived. We waited for a star and received only a pale reflection, a lesson in cosmic humility, where even the grandest expectations can turn into mere dust. By the way, if you like what you're hearing, and this video makes you ponder your place in the universe, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We'd be incredibly grateful. And also, what city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? Write in the comments, we'd love to know. Now, let's return to our cosmic prison and why it might not just be walls, but something far more sinister. Listen, what if all these walls, radiation, vacuum, infinite distances, lack of energy, are not just random obstacles? What if they are some kind of great filter? Here, imagine this idea. Life in the universe might be relatively common, but intelligent, civilized life, capable of moving beyond its home planet, that's a whole different story. The idea of the Great Filter was proposed as one possible explanation for the Fermi Paradox. That's the paradox that screams, where is everybody? If the universe is so vast, so old, and contains so many stars and planets, then why don't we see any traces of other intelligent civilizations? No radio signals, no gigantic cosmic structures, nothing. Silence, a chilling silence. And the filter is some evolutionary barrier that very few can pass through, like a giant sieve that sifts out almost all candidates. And now, for the most interesting part, where is this filter located? It could be behind us, a fluke, a happy accident. Imagine the incredible rarity of life originating from non-living matter, or the fantastic complexity of transitioning from simple single-celled organisms to complex multicellular ones. Or this, the formation of intelligence capable of creating technology. Perhaps the probability of each of these steps is so small that we, humans, simply won the cosmic lottery. Physicists, of course, might argue, what nonsense, life should be everywhere. But for now, there's no proof. But what if the filter is ahead of us? That's much scarier. It means we haven't yet passed the most difficult test. That somewhere out there, beyond the horizon of our current technological capabilities, or even within our own nature, lurks something that prevents civilizations from venturing into deep space and truly becoming interstellar. Something that practically guarantees their destruction or forever locks them within their home system. It's like a game where every level has its bosses, and we've only just completed the tutorial, and the main bosses, meaning the most serious obstacles, are still waiting for us. And here, our cosmic prison begins to take on sinister colors. Perhaps radiation, vacuum, immense distances. Are these parts of the Great Filter? Insurmountable barriers that prevent technology from developing to the point of overcoming these walls? Or perhaps the filter is something we do to ourselves. Nuclear war, climate catastrophe, uncontrolled artificial intelligence, a technological singularity that devours its creators. Or even, imagine, complete stagnation, when a civilization reaches such a level of comfort that it loses all desire to develop and explore. It locks itself in its virtual reality, forgetting about the stars. Imagine a metaphor. You're trying to build a sandcastle on the ocean shore. You build diligently, happily. But the wave, sooner or later, comes and washes everything away. The great filter is that very wave that crashes down on civilizations. And the most chilling question, if the filter is ahead, what stage are we at? Are we on our way to it, unaware that these are not doors to the stars, but gates to our end? Are we those naive fish who consider their aquarium an endless ocean until they realize that beyond the glass lies only inevitable doom? Is our cosmic prison not just an absence of freedom, but merely a thin line before an unseen catastrophe? You know how it is. You look in the mirror and don't see what you want. Now imagine that our entire dream of space is one enormous galactic mirror, and instead of boundless expanses, it stubbornly reflects only our helplessness. Take, for example, October 4th, 1957. Early evening over Baikonur. The Soviet Union launches Sputnik 1. A small sphere with 4 antennas, weighing just 83.6 kilograms, begins its journey around Earth. People worldwide hold their breath, listening to its famous beep, beep, beep. What was it? Triumph, a breakthrough, a symbol of limitless possibilities. We were on the threshold of a new era, friends, about to break free. People rejoiced, looked up at the dark sky, seeing in that tiny spark a harbinger of freedom, the beginning of a grand journey to the stars. But what if it was just the first, tentative glance into an enormous mirror that showed us not our capabilities, but our limitations? By the way, if you are enjoying this profound conversation about our place in the universe and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Your support is very important to us. And tell us in the comments, what city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? We'd love to know. So back to our galactic mirror. We look at the stars, we dream, we make plans, and it shows us not just distances of billions of light years or deadly radiation. It shows us that we are those very fish in an aquarium who look outside through the glass and think, wow, what a vast and free ocean. They don't understand that the air itself is a death sentence for them, and what seems boundless is, in reality, unattainable due to fundamental reasons. Oh, come on, you'll say. We're developing. We're building ships, studying physics. Man is the pinnacle of creation. And I'll answer, development is good, but imagine you're building the best, most powerful boat in the world to sail out of an aquarium. See, you can build an intergalactic liner capable of reaching near light speed, but the very fact that you exist, breathe oxygen, are made of fragile organic matter. That's already a sentence. Space isn't an endless road. It's more like a silent judge. Every parameter we considered a challenge, be it vacuum, weightlessness, or cosmic dust on reflection, is not just an obstacle. It's our own reflected fear, our fragility, our short lifespan, which by cosmic standards doesn't even amount to a fleeting moment. Imagine yourself a tiny ant on a giant paved road. You can run in any direction for as long as you want, but the distance itself, the sheer scale of the surrounding world, renders your journey meaningless. You will never reach the end. Never. And so it is with us. Space reflects our inability to conquer time, our greed for energy, our dependence on a narrow temperature range. It's not space that holds us. It's us, our biology, our fundamental laws of physics, which, as it turns out, we still understand very poorly. This illusion of a boundless sky is the cruelest of all, for it offers hope, and then shows that this hope only reflects the depth of our helplessness. We see freedom, but it's a deception. Space isn't limitless possibilities, but rather a colossal mirror that reflects our limitations. Accept it, humanity. You are prisoners. May 5th, 1963, in one of the most infamous places on the planet, Alcatraz Island, nicknamed The Rock, the final act played out. It was the day the doors of the famous prison clanged shut forever, and the last inmates departed, leaving rusty bars and cold stone behind. Imagine that moment. The smell of salty wind, the cries of seagulls, and a sense of unprecedented freedom mixed with the echo of decades of despair. But what if our Alcatraz is the universe itself, and we are its eternal prisoners, unaware of our shackles? Before we deliver the final verdict on our cosmic fate, let me ask, if you're enjoying this journey through the nooks and crannies of the universe and our place within it, if you find such stories full of paradoxes and amazing facts interesting, then why not subscribe to the channel? And of course, don't forget to hit that like button so our prison audience can grow. By the way, we're very curious to know, what city and time zone are you watching our lectures from? Write in the comments, we'd love to know. Now, let's return to our golden cage. So listen carefully. We've walked the entire path step by step, gathering evidence. To leave Earth, to accelerate a ship to speeds that would allow us to overcome these hellish distances, we need the energy of an entire star. It's like trying to boil an ocean with a single match. We simply don't have such resources. This is a fundamental barrier that currently seems insurmountable. All these factors, radiation, vacuum, time, distance, energy, they don't act alone. They work as a team. These aren't just obstacles. They're like invisible guardians that protect us from ourselves. They create a perfect, hermetically sealed prison. You know what's most ironic? We, humanity, consider ourselves masters of the planet, the pinnacle of evolution. But in fact, we are prisoners. Prisoners of our own biology, of our own physical laws. The illusion of a boundless sky, which we see every night, is a deception. Space is not limitless possibilities, but rather a colossal mirror that reflects our limitations. It screams at us, "Accept it, humanity, you are prisoners." So here it is, the universe's final verdict. Our evidence is collected. We have examined every wall, every barrier, every trick. And the conclusion is one: our galaxy is a golden cage. Beautiful, rich with life, but still a cage. And the stars? The stars will remain just distant lights in our dungeon. Mere decorations that make us dream of a freedom that doesn't exist. But is that a reason to stop dreaming? Or simply to acknowledge the obvious? We are prisoners, and the stars are just distant, unreachable lights. What's your verdict?